All right, today we're jumping into a really chilling case from the drama series Justice's Face. This one's got everything: murder, a super calculated lie, and a justice system that has to figure out what's real and what's just a performance. So let's get right into it.
You know how the craziest stories often start in the most normal places? Well, that's exactly what we've got here. It all kicks off at this successful tile factory. Looks like a pillar of the community, right? But then a woman just vanishes. And the killer? Well, they're hiding in plain sight.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Everything kicks off at this tile factory during a pretty unstable time. You know, a moment of big change, which, as it turns out, is the perfect cover for a crime. So check out how this all unfolds. It feels like a bunch of random events at first. The original owner, Abu Nazih, he passes away. His son, Nazih, steps in, and one of his first moves? He promotes this trusted guy, Adel, to be the new factory manager. Seems like a smooth, normal transition, right? But then, boom, right after all this, Amina, the original owner's wife, just disappears. I mean, the timing on that? It's just way too suspicious to be a coincidence.
So, you've got a missing woman, and you've got this big power shift at the factory she was always hanging around. Yeah, the cops don't have to look very far. All eyes immediately turn to one person, the new manager, Adel.
But why him? Well, the evidence against him starts stacking up pretty fast. First, he's the new manager, so he's got total control of the factory, which is the last place anyone saw Amina. That's what you call opportunity. But here's the real kicker, the thing that makes it all click into place. He had threatened her before. And just like that, this goes from a missing persons case to something a whole lot darker.
So the police have their guy, they've got the evidence, and then the story takes this wild turn. Adel doesn't even try to deny it, he confesses. But hold on, this is not your typical open and shut case, not by a long shot, because his confession, it comes with this really strange, really unsettling twist.
Yeah. Instead of giving a reason, Adel says he wasn't in control of his own actions. He literally tells the investigators, a second voice ordered me to commit the murder. Think about that. He's not just admitting he did it, he's setting up his insanity defense from the word go.
And that right there is the central question of this whole drama. Is this guy genuinely ill, a victim of his own mind? Or is he an incredibly smart, cunning killer who's just cooked up the perfect lie to get away with murder? What do you think?
Well, we don't have to guess for long. The show gives us a flashback that lays out the cold, hard truth of what really happened. And the motive? It wasn't madness. It was something much more common. Plain old greed and fear.
So here's what actually went down. Forget the mysterious voice. The whole thing started when Aminah walked in and caught Adel red-handed, smuggling tiles from the factory. She tells him, "I'm gonna expose you," and suddenly his new job, his freedom, it's all on the line. And then that moment of pure panic and rage, he kills her. And the cover-up? It's just chillingly simple. He buries her right there in the factory under a fresh batch of tiles.
All right, so now the story shifts to the courtroom. And get this, even though we, the audience, know the real story, Adel is sticking to his insanity defense. So the trial isn't about if he did it, everyone knows he did. It's all about his state of mind.
And this is where the legal battle really heats up. His defense team gives his claim a fancy medical name: chronic neurosis with onset of dissociative syndrome. Basically a really complex diagnosis to say, hey, he wasn't responsible. But the court, they're not buying it. And their conclusion is so sharp. They basically say, okay, maybe you do have some underlying issues, but we believe you intentionally exaggerated everything to trick us. He was weaponizing a potential illness to get away with murder. Just incredible.
So with that insanity defense completely torn apart and the real motive, greed, and just saving his own skin, out in the open, there's nothing left. The show is over. It's time for the final judgment.
And the verdict is absolute. Death by hanging. Not just for the murder, but for the calculated, manipulative lie he tried to sell. A truly grim end to a story that started with a little bit of greed and spiraled into absolute tragedy.
You know, this whole case leaves you with one big question, doesn't it? The court didn't just have to find a killer, they had to unmask a performer. They had to peel back this intricate mask of madness to get to the truth. And it really makes you think, when the face of justice is revealed, what do we actually find hiding underneath? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.